I'd like you to talk a little further on that, because passengers want to know, first of all, if they're going to be safe. When I say safe, I'm talking about if you have a scheduled flight for 8 o'clock and you have to leave by past 12 midnight from Abuja. Nobody wants to go through that experience from Kaduna. So they like to know what plans have been put in place, but unfortunately we lost Fan. They should have shed a lot more light on that. But do you think that Jet A1, availability of Jet A1, is the key factor why they don't lift as and when due?
There are multiple factors. Ranging from operational issues, maintenance, the fleet issues, lack of the absence of enough fleet in the airline systems. So a lot of these things can account for flight delays. And a lot of our airlines fly all over the country, even when they do not have the adequate number of equipment. Now, it makes no sense if you have 2, 3 aircraft, 4 aircraft, then you want to fly everywhere. Now, if you look at, for instance, there are niche operators in this country. They focus on certain routes and they deliver scheduled services.
Even though some of them have 2, 3
very well.
fleets, that route they make
very
sure
well.
They deliver.
They keep to their schedules. If they ever have delays, it might be as a result of sometimes issues beyond their control. But there are operators in this country just carve niches for themselves, and they keep,
let's look at the
schedules.
Let's look at the advantages that this situation has presented to the Nigerian aviation industry, because it does seem to suggest that perhaps we're a little backward, not from anyone's fault, but maybe operational and prioritization of what should be done in the industry to get it on the right footing. Would you say that this experience now exposes our local airlines to be able to become bigger players?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge to them. The reality is that sincerely, Nigeria is a gold mine in terms of the opportunities in civil aviation. I do not think there's any carrier in the world that would not want to fly into Nigeria, because we have massive traveling population. So you see the big airlines flying in and out. Now the opportunity available to our airlines is to, code shares, alliances, they are brands. They are brands. For you to become a member of One World Alliance, you must, your level of service must be up to their standard, 5-star service. So it's left for them to look into their operations, upgrade their services to enable them key into these opportunities. For instance, I give you an example. Here in the West Coast, you see Askai. Askai, it's the carrier for the government of Togo. It has alliance with Ethiopia. Now, in the entire of the West Coast, they comb passengers and they feed ET to Addis, and they spread them all over the world. So that's the kind of thing you want to see. That's the kind of thing we want to see in our industry. They should partner. They should form alliances. Possibly, they should merge, because you see the risk of airline operations today is too huge for individual airlines to carry. So you see the KLMs, the Delta, the Air France coming together, sharing their risk exposures. That keeps you in a somewhere break-even and profitable zone.
You're suggesting that perhaps now we have a situation where the airlines in Nigeria all come under one umbrella?
It is possible.
But it will work better for us?
It's possible. Now, I tell you, my experience in this industry is that the regulatory authority, NCA, has tried in the past to ensure that the minimum requirements for issuance of AOC in terms of fleet, that the last stakeholders where this issue was discussed, NCA proposed minimum of 5 aircraft, but the industry opposed it. In other climes, like if you go to Asia Pacific, let's say in Indonesia, it's a minimum of 10 for you to go into scheduled commercial operations. And in some countries, they even put some limitation on the age of aircraft to be used. But you know, our industry is we're evolving, and I hope someday we'll get there.
Is there a level of certification they need, for instance, to be able to adopt this new model? Not really a new model, but this model that you're talking about.
Well, it's not really. You know, the thing is that the framework for certification has to be rejigged. And you know, sometimes in managing the situation, you have to carry the industry, because the Civil Aviation Act places an obligation on the Director General of NCA, the NCA, to have consultations with industry before formulating some of these regulations. So if in the process of the consultations you make proposals and the industry does not accept, can you trust it on them?
Do you believe that the confidence of the Nigerian airlines, the local airlines that we have, is enough to encourage this partnership in the code-sharing formula? Well,
the code-sharing thing, it's an individual thing. It's airline-based. It's airline-based. In the past, before IRS went down, before the AMCOM took over IRS, they had signed with, I think, with Turkish Air, and the arrangement was for them to, when Turkish Air brings its passengers to Lagos, IRS would distribute them around the country. That was the arrangement. It was signed, but it didn't happen.
And reason?
Because IRS, went down because of the fleet issue.
Which
the regulations requires that for you to be in scheduled commercial operations, you need a minimum of 2 aircraft. And at a point in time, IRS had just 1. So the CA had to keep it down. It happened to a number of airlines.
So do you think that the industry or the players there seem to be, trying to say the appropriate word to use now, maybe a little, is it too difficult or for the NCAA or the regulatory bodies to actually handle that?
It's not too difficult. Like I did say, the NCA, aside the safety oversight, offers economic regulatory services. Now, what they do is that airlines approach the CAA for advice. In fact, we have a model in Nigeria in the past 5-6 years when the Nigerian government is discussing bilateral air services. They invite stakeholders. They meet with the industry stakeholders here at home before, and they request them to indicate their interest if they want to participate in discussions. Some of the discussions hold here at home, some offshore. So the idea is to carry them along. When you go out and you're discussing with these foreign airlines, governments, you meet airlines, because the counterpart government comes with its team. The airlines participate in that. So you can open up discussions with them in this area of partnership.